Could I just have a quick show of hands of the people who are actually aware of this breakwater plan, who have a little bit of information about it? Oh, well, that's good. That's most of the audience. So I don't have to say too much then. Okay, the first slide is the first thing that they plan to do is to dredge the South Negril River, which is this river just here. Dredging the river will automatically dry out the morass, because when you dredge a river, the level of the water will go down in the river, which will cause the water in the morass to seep back into the river. Next. This is going to allow all the nutrients from the sewage plant, from the farmers using their chemicals, and from the garbage that is thrown in the river. It's going to reach the reef. Now, what happened is the Bay of Negril, there's too many nutrients in the water, which creates the growth of algae on the reef. Can I go back for it? What happens is the algae smothers the reef, it can't breathe, and so it will kill the reef eventually. So this is the very first problem Negril has, and it's the very first problem we need to address before we do anything else. It is the problem of the morass. Okay, this is what a nice live reef looks like. Can you change? This is what our visitors come to see. They spend a lot of money to come and see this. Next, please. Now, when we dry out the morass, as you probably, most of you know, we have terrible fires, and the smoke affects the residents, and it also affects the visitors. We've had visitors who have had to leave because they have breathing and asthma problems, and we have residents who have had to go to hospital. Now, what happens is when the peat burns, it's the hardest fire to put out, because you might put it out on top, but it's still burning underneath because it's dry. When the morass is wet, it can't go down and burn down because it needs water. But when it gets too dry, it stays underneath there, and it smolders and it burns, and then it flares up back at any time. And actually, the smoke gets worse when it's burning and then it rains. Then the rain hits, the water hits the fires underneath, and it creates all of this smoke. Next, please. Okay, the next project, oh, sorry, draining of the river still. Okay, the most of the beach that we're losing sand from, and nature has a funny way of bringing back everything to where it's supposed to be. So if we dredge the river now, we're going to take all this sand and we're going to throw it away. And then in another 2-3 years' time, the same sand off the Negril beach will come all the way back down and fill up back the river again. So this is the reason why dredging the river is a big no-no for the ecosystem of Negril. Next, please. I just thought you'd be interested to see what Negril looked like in 1952. See if I can get this to work. Okay, this, as you see here, there was no bridge. And what happened is, only in the rainy season would the water come over the sand and come into the sea. There was no river there. The river was dredged and made, it was a natural, what they call a creek, which would only get wet during the rainy season. The rest of the year it would be dry. And the beach, it has a natural curve that comes around, and this used to block the water coming from the morass, and the water used to be filtered by the morass, and so it would be almost clean water that came into the bay, and that's why we had such beautiful corals. As a child, we used to walk on the coral out there. It used to be sticking up out of the water. Next, please. Okay, this is the next plan now. They're going to all this area here. This is right beside Corner Bar. This is a pier. All of this is going to be filled in. The sand from the river is going to be filled in here, and then the sand out at sea, all the seafloor will be dredged up and placed here as landfill. Now, on this landfill here, they're going to put offices, canteens, toilets, cranes, trucks, trailers. So I think anybody who has any business in that area are going to be highly affected. Next, please. Now, this is a different perspective of the filling they're going to do. So all of this section here will become land. Now, my question is, we're messing with nature again. I'm a little bit worried about that. I'm a bit worried about the sand that they're going to dredge out. What is going to happen to this when they've all gone? Are we going to have shacks? Is it going to be a garbage dump? What is going to go there when they're finished? Next, please. Okay, this is a diagram from the environmental assessment study, and this is where they're going to dredge the river. This is where they're going to dredge the sea, and this is where they're going to take in and turn all of this section into land. This is a supermarket here. This is Corner Bar here. Just to give you a better perspective of what they plan to do. Next, please. Okay, you're going to have 24 truckloads of boulders per day coming through Negril. They're going to be carrying boulders up to 13 tons. It's approximately a truck every half an hour. It's coming from a place, we're not sure, but we believe it's coming from a place called Hough. So it has to come through Savlamar. So anybody who operates a business here, you're going to have to leave at least half an hour early, because you know you're going to get stuck behind trucks. The town center of Negril is going to be, I mean, everybody knows in the season we already have traffic jams. I don't know what we're going to call these, block-off jams. West End is going to suffer. Anybody who remembers the sewage system that went in, it took the West End approximately 5 years to recover. This project is estimated to be between 6 and 9 months. NWA doesn't have a very good reputation to finish on time, so we're not too sure. Can we afford to close off the West End for 9 months? I'll leave that up to you to decide. There'll be more road damage. I'd love to know if there's a budget to fix the road when this project is finished. Next slide, please. Okay, I know everybody wants to know where these breakwaters are going. On the EIA, this is the map from the EIA. They've made it as small as possible and as difficult to read as possible. So this here is footprints. So it's approximately starting opposite footprints, and this is going up to Negril Beach Villa. Now if you notice, it's hooked on, it's the major reef here is having it on both sides. Now, this is one of the largest major reefs we have left in Negril. They're going to be putting these boulders down. It's going to cause turbidity. Silt is going to land on the reef. Maybe not all of it, but when you have silt on the reef, it suffocates it, and we will probably lose, I don't want to put an estimate, but we will definitely lose some reef. Next please. All right, this is what a breakwater looks like. Now this breakwater is estimated, there's two breakwaters. One is a quarter of a mile long, and one is a third of a mile long. I'm not sure if we have the width. I think they go up to, some of them go up to 75 feet in width, and I think the minimum is 49 feet. Yes, in the EIA it says emergent and semi-emergent. Now, I just went and checked it in the dictionary, what emergent and semi-emergent meant, just in case I misunderstood. Emergent means it stick out of the water, and semi-emergent means some of it stick up out of the water. Okay? So anybody tell you you can't see it, don't listen to them. You can see it. A mathematician did some calculations, and don't quote me on this because I'm not sure if it's true, but it's estimated, he tells me, that the footprint of these breakwaters is about 5 acres. Okay, so we're making like a little island out there. Also, I want to point out that it is going to protect 1.5 miles of Negril Beach. Yeah, I'm an environmentalist. I don't think it's worth dredging the river, taking back some of the coastline for 1.5 miles of beach. Does that make sense? Okay. The next thing is, we're not too sure if the water is going to circulate well through the bay. Are we going to end up with stagnant water? Is our crystal clear, beautiful blue water going to kind of get murky? We're not too sure. And then what happens in a hurricane or a storm? Where are these rocks going to go? Next slide, please. I just thought I would show you what a 22-ton rock looked like. Now remember, our rocks are going to be 13 ton. Now I don't know if anybody remembers what happened to Little Bay a couple of years ago. A lot of rocks don't reach on the beach. This happened in South Sea Spark, Hurricane Ivan. The sea is an amazing thing. If you don't respect it, it's going to hit your back, trust me. Next one, please. All right, we've heard about all the bad things that are going to happen. Let's have some good news. These are the possibilities that we can have. Now, for the same price, $5.4 million to build these breakwaters, that we're not even too sure are going to work because the engineer himself says this has never been done before. It's on the JIS website, if anybody misbelieves me. We have been promoting, what, 30 years now, Mr. Colsey? At least 30 years we've been requesting for the same price, or probably even less, to have what they call beach nourishment. Now, Miami Beach, they put in breakwaters, they took them back out, because guess what? Each hotel had sand, but their neighbors had none. Now, I'm not saying this would happen with this breakwater, because where this breakwater is going is a completely different thing, and nobody's too sure whether it's going to work or not. Varadero Beach in Cuba, they receive over 1 million people every year. In the 1980s, they did beach nourishment. They replenished it a little bit last year. No, sorry, 18 months ago. And they've been through some hell of a hurricanes. So there is alternatives, and there is other ways to go about it. Next one, please. Now this is a few pictures just to give you an understanding of what beach nourishment is. Over here is a simple form of nourishment where they just throw back the sand. On the bottom picture, the ship would go out, pick up the sand, and blow it back on the beach. And this is the coast of Florida before and after beach nourishment. Now, I know there's a lot of people asking, where's the sand coming from? Well, the Cubans came here, same people who did Varadero Beach, and they identified the same sand 3 miles approximately out of Negril. There's a sandbank out there. In fact, one engineer told me that if we really wanted to, it could cost us nothing because there's so much sand out there, we could actually sell some to somebody else. So the sand is there, and we're not taking it off anybody else's beaches because we wouldn't want to. So the proposition of beach nourishment is a viable proposition. Next, please. Okay, the other thing we really need to do is to restore the morass. The ecosystem of Negril is all based on the morass. The morass is the anchor for the beach and for the reef. Without the morass, there's no beach and there's no reef. If you fix the morass, we will have healthy reefs which will protect the beach. So we need to fix the morass first before we do anything else. Next, please. Next thing we need to do, which I just touched on, is to save the reefs. The reefs are the life of the beach. The fish produce the sand that is needed to replenish the beach. It is what protects us in the times of storms. Next, please. Okay, as a lot of you who are from Negril will probably know that a lot of the seagrass was pulled out. I think it's from a lack of understanding of the importance of seagrass. Seagrass actually holds the sand and produces sand. What we need to do is we really need to go back and replant the sand to hold the sand in place. Oh, what did I say? Oh, sorry. Okay, so we need to plant back seagrass, but we can't do that unless the quality of the water is good, because nothing is going to grow if the quality coming from the river, the quality of the water coming from the river is contaminated. So we need, it all goes back to the morass. Next, please. This is what a beautiful, healthy reef looks like. Next. Okay, we have a marine park and fish sanctuary, supposedly in Negril. No work has been done on it. We have no rangers. We still have people overfishing. You know, the little baby fish, they're out there every morning. Nobody tells them, hey, you know, you're killing your future, because when these fish grow big, you get a bigger money when you sell them, or you get more dinner. So there's a lack of education, there's a lack of understanding of fishing the little baby fishes and overfishing. And if we had a proper established fish sanctuary that was running and working, we would have a better chance. Also remember that the fish eat the algae on the reefs, and that makes the reefs live longer too. Next one, please. I just thought you'd like to know what Negril looked like in 1956. What a beautiful beach. Wouldn't it be nice to have it back like that again? Next, please. Okay, this is what we're asking you to do. I hope if there's any questions you have that you didn't understand, please ask, because the more of us that understand what we've been gifted with here, will be able to go back and tell their family and friends. So please share what you learned. Please listen out. There should be another public meeting soon. Remember, you have rights. Remember, we all have a right to say, no, we don't want this. And hopefully we'll see you all again when we have the public meeting. Thank you very much.